What some, including myself, are calling a brand new energy model, all right? We have two leaders in business, Wilbur Ross, W.L. Ross & Company Chairman and CEO, and Bill George, former Medtronic Chairman and CEO, now at the Harvard Business School. Wilbur, let me start with you. This is not my invention, but I'm pushing this argument. In fact, it's not the price of gasoline or the price of energy that matters more than the revolution in fracking that's going on, which has exponentially increased our natural gas and our oil. Second, more permits and more leases create more revenues to solve the federal budget. And third, the combination of all the above creates more jobs and better growth, and that in turn throws off revenues to solve the federal budget. In other words, I'm not hung up on the polls so much on prices as I am this new energy model. What's your thought? Does it make sense?
Well, we're investors in shale gas, so I absolutely agree with you there. And I think what's sad is that there's all this controversy over fracking that's unwarranted. There have been hundreds of thousands of wells drilled, very, very few problems. And the few problems have generally come from little independent guys who cut the corner, not from anybody who's a major producer. So they're wrong to be anti-fracking. They're wrong for another reason, in that if you're anti-coal and you're anti-natural gas, what's going to make the light go on when you open the refrigerator door? If you like electric cars like the president does, where do they think the electricity is going to come from?
Electricity comes from fossil fuels.
Yes.
Is that true? Why doesn't the president understand that? He's never made that connection. I'm not even asking a political question. He's big on batteries. He wants to subsidize battery. There's probably merit in the battery automobile argument, but at some point it's got to have fossil fuels behind it.
Well, not sure, because electricity doesn't live in the wall and just need to be liberated. You have to create it, and you got to create it by combusting something.
Bill George, let me go to you. Back to this grand model. I mean, comment on whatever you want to comment. But it really isn't the price. I mean, I'm a free market guy. The price will be the price. Newt Gingrich says the price of gas should go to $2.50. I don't agree with that. The market, it's a global market, it's going to dictate the price. What I'm saying is the new model, more leases, more permits, more revenues to solve the budget gap, more leases and more permits and more natural gas and more fracking and more jobs and more growth throws revenues off to solve the budget problem. In other words, energy becomes a fix for our budget disaster as well as our soft economy. That's where I'm going on this. I'm not hung up on the price. The price is going to be the price.
Well, Larry, it can fix part of the budget problem, but I think you're right. We've had a major change in energy, not because of energy policy. We don't have an energy policy in this country. Everything is done individually and anecdotally. We desperately need an energy policy, but technology and finding of natural gas and the hard-to-find natural gas, the oil sands up in Canada, these are major breakthroughs, and they really tip the tide. I'm not going all the way to say that we're going to be 100% energy independent, but I think we should have a North American energy agreement and just let things flow back and forth between the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and it would go a long way to solving our problem.
Of which, Bill, Keystone has been the center, and to some extent, Keystone has become a symbol of all that seems to be wrong with these high energy prices. In other words, I know Keystone's not going to solve everything, but it's like a symbol. And my point to the two political spokespeople, I didn't get very far, is this: that President Obama doesn't seem to respect the fracking revolution. He doesn't seem to respect the permits and the drilling permits and the licenses, as Wilbur was suggesting. He just seems to always oppose it, Bill George. Is that an issue when you talk to men and women in business? Is it like a disheartening thing? Is it just bad for morale?
Well, actually, Larry, no one understands the Spectrum or the Keystone decision. And I've been on the phone regularly with the head of TransCanada who's building the pipeline. The last thing in the world we want to see is that oil. I was up at oil sands last June, saw it firsthand. It's amazing. There's about as much oil up there as there is in the Arabian Gulf. It's amazing. But, you know, we don't want that oil being that pipeline go to the west to the Chinese. We want it to come to North America. That will give us much better control of our own energy resource. And as far as fracking, the president did come out behind it. I do believe that this is a major breakthrough, the hard-to-find shale gas. and it's going to change a lot. The mix between natural gas and coal, it's true natural gas prices are low, but you're going to see a big shift.
Let me get back to Wilbur. Just tell me what you're involved in this business. What do you want to see? Okay, put the polls aside, put the politics aside. What do you want to see, Wilbur Ross?
Well, a couple of things. Number one would be passing the legislation that's been pending for quite a little while that Boone Pickens was encouraging about a temporary modest subsidy to help truckers convert over to natural gas. The $1 billion that got wasted on Solyndra and these other electric things would have been far better spent doing that, because you have to get to a scale where there'll be recharging centers around the country, and that requires a certain number of vehicles on the road. Heavy trucks are a very, very big user of fuel. They probably use more fuel than do regular passenger cars. Second thing would be to realize that natural gas, specifically shale, not only can solve the budget problem, it can also solve the balance of payments problem.
Ah, right. I neglected to say that. Yes, I stand corrected. You are exactly right. The balance of payments be completely changed if we start producing this stuff here, and we're throwing off all these. I think the budget issue itself is really underrated. I mean, we're talking about trillions of dollars over the next 10 or 20 years.
Right.
And Larry,
also,
I got to get out.
The gas price really does hurt people. My estimate is that $1 a gallon, when you reverberate it through the system with plastics and trucks and everything, totally offsets the whole reduction in withholding tax that got put through.
And that's what the polls are saying. People are very concerned about it. All right, gentlemen, I'm sorry we don't have any more time. Wilbur